Hello and welcome to BattleTech Faction Briefings. Last time we looked at the Black Warriors, and this week we are looking at the group that broke off to become their own pirate band, Morrison's Extractors. They don't have a long history, but they make the best of the time they have by causing chaos in the Periphery. While the Periphery is filled with various pirate bands, the Extractors are one of the few that actually show up in various stories. They may not be the first choice for most mech commanders, but Morrison's Extractors might be a unit to consider for those who love the Periphery. Like many pirates, the Extractors attempted to look intimidating via their symbol. Therefore, their symbol is a unique design, as it features a viper wrapped around a scepter. It has a cool look that helps set this unit apart from other pirates, and provides just enough intimidation to make opponents wary of the Extractors. The unit colors are unique to each pilot, as tends to be the case with pirate factions. However, all of them must have gold trim to match the look of their commander. In addition to that, their leader, Hopper Morrison, has a gold crown on his personal mech to match the gold crown tattoo on his right cheek. The use of gold trim on the mechs could make them look unique on the tabletop for any mech commander looking for some fun pirate battles. Morrison's Extractors do have a short history, but they do show up in a short story and a novel. Therefore, if you want to avoid spoilers for those stories, please skip to the time listed. In the early 3040s, the Black Warriors were going through some hard times. However, there were still raiding parties bringing back stolen supplies when possible. One of those teams went out to the deep Periphery near what would later be called the Rim Collection. Captain Morrison stumbled across a former Rim Worlds Republic planet named Port Vale when he and his men needed a place to hide and rest between raids. While there, they stumbled across a Star League-era base. The base contained two companies of old battle mechs in working condition. Realizing the value of his spoils, Morrison decided to split off from the Black Warriors. After taking the mechs, he renamed the stormy planet to the Rack. Then, Morrison returned to Circinus to recruit any Black Warriors that were dissatisfied with the run of bad luck the Warriors had been facing. After establishing his own crew, Hopper Morrison went back to the Rack. But after a few years of unwanted attention from the Lyran Commonwealth, he took over a nearby planet named Dijon. Morrison decided to rename the planet to Pain. This was because he felt the planet was painfully dry, but other reports note that it was because he could not spell the word Dijon. From then on, the planets of Pain and the Rack would become his main bases of operation. Much like the Black Warriors on Circinus, the Extractors decided to make a deal with the locals for food and labor in exchange for protection. From their two bases, the Extractors began raiding Lyran worlds to great success. Morrison was so successful that by the end of the 3040s, his forces had grown to a regiment of pirates. He had enough troops to garrison his two planets and still do raids. His regiment was equipped with high-quality equipment, with only a company or so worth of units using Succession War-era technology. The population of Pain grew during the clan invasion due to the arrival of refugees from the Lyran part of the Federated Commonwealth. Once the truce at Tukiad was settled, the Federated Commonwealth put out a bounty on the Extractors because of their raids over the years. Several mercenaries and bounty hunters joined the 11th Arcturan Guard RTC in the hunt. However, they had no luck tracking down the Extractors. In 3056, the Circinus Federation hired Simonson's Cutthroats, a mercenary band who had recently started working in the Periphery. The Cutthroats took on Morrison's Extractors, but were overwhelmed by the numbers and tech of the pirates. The Extractors destroyed nearly 2 battalions worth of Cutthroats and took out their colonel. The mercenary forces were shattered and split into two groups. part of them leaving to seek revenge, which they would never get, and the other part staying behind and joining Morrison's Extractors for better pay. Dreams of glory would not last, as the Extractors set their sights on the Rim Collection. In 3059, Abel's Aces, a local mercenary unit, were protecting the Rim Collection. The Extractors were capable of recruiting some traders from the Aces. The intel they got led to an ambush that destroyed a company of Aces on Caldarium. After the battle, Benjamin Rasser left the Aces and joined the Extractors. In exchange, he got to pilot a newly acquired Mad Cat. With good intel from an insider and a new skilled pilot, the Extractors turned their focus to the capital of the Rim Collection, Gilfillian's Gold. Meanwhile, Major Jerry Abel, commander of Abel's Aces, put together a plan to draw out the traitor and stop the pirates. The plan worked, and the Extractors lost nearly a company of mechs on their failed assault of Gilfillian's Gold. However, the Aces weren't done yet. They followed this up by gathering their forces and assaulting the Rack, shattering over a battalion's worth of Extractors defending the planet. This shut down one of Morrison's key bases, and the newly acquired Mad Cat was lost. This would be the beginning of the end for Morrison's Extractors. Rather than rebuild his forces, Morrison decided he needed to avenge his nearly 2 battalions of lost soldiers. Thus, he continued his raids into the Rim Collection, but by 3061, most of the raids had failed. To make matters worse, constant attacks from Abel's Aces had led to the Extractors losing Pain in 62. The salvage gained by the Rim Collection during this time led to the creation of the 3rd Collection Armed Battalion. Despite these setbacks, Morrison's Extractors continued to survive. They had far fewer successful raids, but in 3064, a heist was planned on the New India Parts Depot for jump and dropship parts. Zoltan Majoros led a successful heist despite some shaky intel. Zoltan was able to make off with a fair amount of equipment while facing very little combat, due to distractions from Derek Simpson in his Flashman and a false dropship operation to distract the militia. The mid-3060s brought even more bad luck to the Extractors. They were able to take back Pain, but their technological advantage was now lost, with less than a quarter of their remaining forces using advanced units. This caused the team to have far fewer successful raids. Finally, the Extractors would meet their end in 3067, as Pain was attacked by a group of pirates called the Black Harriers. After Morrison's death, the remaining pirates either joined the Harriers or fled to find work elsewhere. While Morrison's Extractors had a short life of about 25 years, their legacy is quite interesting. Thanks to the Extractors, Pain had a population boom, and it started building legitimate trade routes with nearby systems, including the mining colony of Oporto. More than that, Pain would become a core part of a new periphery state, the Rim Territories, in 3087. While the Extractors will never return, the Rim Territories carry their legacy into the Ill-Clan era. Like any major pirate crew, there are some notable buccaneers amongst the rabble. Hopper King Morrison, the cruel and cunning leader of Morrison's Extractors. He was tall with a gold crown tattooed on his right cheek. While not very smart, he was good at recruiting more troops. He piloted a king crab. Zoltan, Magician Majoros, a skilled thief who has never been caught or served jail time. He was key in keeping the Extractors functional during the 60s. A cold-hearted pirate who used infiltration skills rather than piloting a mech to steal booty. Derek Headjob Simpson, part of Magician's team and a skilled mech pilot. He enjoyed smashing mechs and killing other pilots. His skills kept him alive even after the battles with Abel's Aces. He pilots a Star League-era Flashman. One of the things that makes the Extractors a fun unit to build is that they have so many Star League-era mechs. However, Lyran and Periphery Salvage have been used to bolster their unit numbers. Their raiding teams have no clear design methodology because Morrison isn't much of a strategist. He's more of a smash and grab thief. It should be noted that he does have a squadron of inexperienced air support. The air extractors usually do recon or high cover, but are not a core aspect of his raid strategy. Beyond that, there is limited to no support for these pirate forces. They are big mechs, smashing stuff and taking things. Even with a short lifespan, Morrison's Extractors showed up in the novel By Blood Betrayed, and a Battlecore short story, Magician, but as of this recording, that short story has not been reprinted. Beyond that, there are a handful of source books with information about these high-tech pirates. I wasn't sure if I was going to cover Morrison's Extractors, but when I saw that they had shown up in a novel and short story, not to mention nearly destroying Simonson's cutthroats and being indirectly responsible for starting the Rim territories, I felt like I had to cover them. For a small, short-lived group of pirates, they did quite a bit, and it is rare to find units like that, especially in the Periphery, which tends to get the short end of the stick in terms of lore. Covering the Black Warriors and Morrison's Extractors has made me realize it might be fun to paint up a lance or two of pirate units. Not sure which faction, but it is something that has been on my mind while doing the research for these videos. On that note, if Catalyst did a Morrison's Extractors mech pack, here are my suggestions along with cards for Hopper Morrison and Derek Simpson. Next time, I'll be looking at the mercs that helped take down the Extractors, Abel's Aces. A big thank you to all the mech warriors out there. Whether this is the first faction briefing you are watching, or you've seen them all, I'm grateful that you're here. May your weapons stay hot, and your reactors stay cool. Until next time, thank you for watching, and I'll see you at the tavern.